Doing the previous exercise, you created the ideal man or woman you want, everything from your heart. Some of you, when you look at your list, might start thinking whether you really deserve such a person or not. You might think, how in the world would someone like that be interested in me? Or you might think, this person doesn't exist. In this chapter, I will be addressing self-doubts and how to deal with them. But, if you feel great and don't have any of the above, then you don't need to read this chapter. Move on. If you look at your list and think it is not possible that such a person exists, then let's start from my list. In every list, I wrote, I wanted someone with blue or green eyes and that I would really like to marry an Australian or a European person. But I am a traditional Middle Eastern woman. There are many cultural differences between my world and the Western world. I had recently moved to Australia at that time and was not very adapted to the culture. And my religion also doesn't help, because if I wanted to marry my ideal man, I should have asked him to change his religion, which makes it even harder and almost impossible for me to think that it might happen. And there were only 2 items on my list. So, looking at other items in my list, I really felt nervous and thought I am setting myself up for failure, or that I would need to compromise a lot to have at least someone close to what I want. My heart's desire had no information about the reality of my situation at that point. However, my heart was so right. My husband today is a born Australian and has a European background. He changed his religion and he has beautiful blue eyes. In the previous chapter, I mentioned I wanted him to have a business mindset and support me with my PhD. He ticked both these items, and he has every single quality I ever wanted in my man, plus so much more. My issue with self-doubt was my limited information about reality. My heart didn't have that limitation, but my brain had and always will have in any given situation. The coaching group I was attending at that time really helped me. I could see that every other person has these doubts in different forms. One woman thought she couldn't date someone because she was not working. She thought it would be an issue that would make guys go away. I then realized that her thinking was based on her life experiences and didn't necessarily reflect reality. I knew many guys who would not mind if their wife preferred to stay at home and not work. So, I could see how it was impossible in her mind but not in mine. This helped me understand that I don't need to trust my reasoning on things I truly want, because my limited knowledge and information throughout my limited lifetime doesn't define the reality that governs the world and other people. Another form of self-doubt you might have is when you read your list and imagine that ideal person, thinking about yourself and saying, but if I want to have that person in my life, then I need to become this and that. For example, you might think I am fat and need to lose weight before meeting my loved one, or I need to quit smoking, or I need to stop playing video games all day, or I need a better job, or I need to have some savings. It is good to become a better person every day and have goals, but believe that you are good just the way you are and can make someone else happy by simply being in their life. In my case, I thought I was fat and needed to lose weight. I got a personal trainer, and in the first session, he asked me my goal and how he could help me. I told him that I wanted to meet my ideal man and get married and needed to lose 10 kilograms. So, I lost 7 kilograms in 3 months, and after that reached my ideal weight with some diets. There I was at my ideal weight, but I still had not met anyone close to my ideal man. As I started to lose hope, I started gaining weight again, and training and diet weren't working anymore. Funny enough, when I met my husband, I had actually gained all that weight back. But being in the sports industry and having very good habits and a healthy lifestyle, he helped me and pushed me to be healthier and more active, which was good for me. Another form of self-doubt can be the feeling of not deserving the best. This should not be the case if what you wrote came from your heart, and if you are doing the exercises I gave you in the previous chapters. So, if that's the case, you can go back to the beginning of the book and do the exercises again. When I had my list, I didn't have this book as guidance, and I was getting information from different resources, not knowing what was working and what wasn't. As a result, that time I just couldn't trust myself and wait for things to happen. What I did was compromise. I started searching for a similar person, a person who still shares the same culture and belief as me, and colorful eyes would be a bonus. I met one man after another and got into more self-doubt. I couldn't trust myself anymore because it wasn't working. It was like lying to myself and whoever I was meeting. I wasn't satisfied. As they weren't the right people for me, they couldn't see my values, they put me down and made me feel unworthy. I was setting myself up for destroying all of my dreams and even my values. So, the list you have at this point is a way to be true to yourself and whoever you are going to spend the rest of your life with. It's about practicing honesty and not randomly going from one to another. Instead of feeling that you are not worthy enough to have the one you really want, tell yourself that you want to be true to yourself and honest in your relationship. This will help you overcome that feeling.